which is itself a ridiculous situation. This minister, this government seems to think that if you can't fix it, hide it.
Pretty much. I was talking about the case, the text gate with the two sets of text messages, Salary and Munilal.
I'm not taking that stunt on. I'm not taking it on. It's not a public prosecution. It is a civil matter between two corrupt and cancerous political organizations. Even if they were to all go outside behind the parliament and fight, I wouldn't care. I think Trinidad needs to get beyond the PNM and the UNC, and we need to get beyond the PNM and the UNC conversation. And I like the fact that Ganga Singh and Kamla Prasad Bisesa are in open squabble for the leadership of the party, and nobody in Trinidad cares. I like that. I like that Trinidad and Tobago is saying to the United National Congress, under no circumstances. I like that they're saying to the PNM, as soon as we get a chance, we cock like Mappa Peter, vote you all into oblivion.
Alright, also touched a bit on Watchman wanting to be the Commissioner of Police.
Suzette had a position on that, so maybe she could weigh in a little bit. Suzette, I want to bring you closer to me because you smell nice, and also because I want to fetch you into the live video too.
Alright, well, I'm not going to advertise their brand of body wash. I'm just going to say it's really cool.
If you buy doubles or roti body wash, you get there.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly it. You smell like asada roti.
Exactly what I was aiming for this morning. Thank you, Jesus.
Oh, the ghee.
With respect to this situation regarding the Commission of Police and so on, I have a little question. Perhaps I don't know if it might be making too much out of nothing, but there seems to be an influx of people coming out of Ghana and Uganda back into the PNM. And my question is, what were they doing there in the first place? But all right, that may be for another show. Watchman, it seems, would have had a very colorful past as an entertainer. Now, people may have progressed and they may have evolved over time, but back then, his position was a very controversial position in terms of how he saw the government and what his recommendations were for dealing with the government, somewhat in a very violent manner. And I'm wondering if that is the kind of person that you would like to have deal with crime in Trinidad and Tobago, if your position really tends to be around a controversial...
Exactly, and I would like to add to that because, I mean, James Filbert, Stephen Williams, who was before Filbert? But traditionally, the Commissioner of Police tends to be a sedate personality, somebody that because we have our country is wild right now, and we don't need wild voices.
We need stability.
We need somebody that brings calmness and
yes.
and sober assertiveness to the conversation.
Yeah. Quiet leadership, strategy.
Exactly. And that's the one thing that I really did like about Stephen Williams, that he brought that to the conversation, not much more.
Yeah, he fell asleep on the job. Let's say, no, that was the extreme level of sedating.
Maybe he went a little too far to the sedate side, as some are saying, because, I mean, we have like 15 years of firearm applications languishing on his desk right now. If you see, when you're looking at the live video, if you see us shivering, it's because we're inside a fridge. You could store meat in 104.7. I don't know what you all are going for, but whoever is responsible, Kevin, for fixing these air conditions,
they're doing an awesome job.
They're
awesome job.
Amazing. They're talented. But back on this point, if you want to deal with and address that, because now we've not heard anything from the former Calypsonian, and you can't just bash him for being a Calypsonian. Our president was Lord Pussyfoot. That was his name? That was his sobriquet? Lord Pussyfoot?
I am not even going to venture a guess there because I don't know. That sounds obscene. But
that was his Calypso sobriquet. And I'm saying to Trinidad and Tobago that all of you who have been following me and know that one of my bucket list items was to sing a Calypso. I am actually in conversation with Kurt Allen right now. If he has a tent, I will be singing in his tent. Next Carnival, we already have a song called This Year I Sing in a Calypso. And I'm probably going to be using the sobriquet, Lord Have Mercy.
On you or just everybody in general?
Right.
Everybody.
But Kevin, coming back to what is going on in the education sector, because this is something that is stirring the ire of a lot of people. And Trinidad needs to understand that the education sector of a society is not a glorified babysitting service. No, I went to St. Mary's College. But But no, I mean, the sister schools, Fatima College was built to handle the overflow of people trying to get into St. Mary's. That's why there is a Fatima.
Are you proud of your school? Is what I'm saying. Does this make you feel proud of your school?
No, it's not. But you see, you can't blame a whole school and the history of the school because of the actions of some people.
No, I'm going to disagree with you.
And
David.
inactions of others.
Things about that school for some time.
Because I don't think...
According to the school.
Right. Now, I don't think it's only, I mean, this issue that happened at Fatima College, as deplorable as it is, whether or not they're saying it's fake, my question is this: if it's something that is fake, what sort of psychological degradation these children must have gone through to be able to stage something like that if it's fake? Because it's absolutely disgusting.
Wait. Yes, sir.
The gentleman bent over the table. What is in your mind to willingly take that position?
Kevin,
This is what I'm saying.
This is a hyper-sexualized country. We pretend not to notice that our culture is pseudo-sex. Our soca music is predominantly sex. Our carnival expression has been reduced to who could wear the skimpiest and gyrate on each other's genitalia the hardest. You cannot.
Idea that this is okay.
Okay, wait. You cannot. But children learn what they live. We live in a wind-up on a bumsy culture. Children learn what they live. Do you see what these bands put out as carnival costumes? These beautiful girls who aspire to be leaders in communities.
Beautiful girls. These are two boys. What is that little boy thinking? That
No. Trinidad also has a large homosexual culture. You can't get away from that. Remember homosexual culture? And you know what? Not for me to judge. All I am saying is, regardless of what type of sex they were simulating, because children have been raped in schools, and that sex has been taking place in schools, and pornography has been being filmed in schools for quite some time. And the truth of the matter is, what we have is a complete breakdown in the management of our schools, and that has to be addressed, confronted, and resolved as a matter of urgency. And this dinosaur Minister of Education's policy to take away the cell phones, if only to hide what's going on in the school, that is more madness on top of madness.
Now, I don't think that we need to just look at this from a very, as Philip put it, just a physical nature. I think it deals a lot too with the psychological nature of the children that are entering the schools, because they're coming in there already stressed out with this sort of education system we have, for example, the SEA. Now, my whole problem with this is over the last 15 years, I think Trinidad and Tobago, coming from once a very proud, solid educational background, our educational levels are falling, and it has nothing to do with the government, outside of Garcia and his incompetence. I think it has a lot to do with that passion that we're missing from the teachers who are getting into the profession.
Interesting. Now, I know a couple of teachers, and there is some level of passion they do have.
Yes, I agree, you have passionate teachers.
It should be a vocation, Kevin. Teaching is a vocation. Teaching is not a hustle. But as we stick a pin in this to welcome Robert Amar into the studio. Good morning, Robert.
He wants everybody to know you're late. I think that is what he was aiming for.
That is the way, he tells everybody.
Oh my gosh, that is not the plan.
That is the way he operates.
Y'all ascribe motives
anyhow,
to me so callously.
Good morning, Trinidad, and of course, a very good morning to the teachers outside there. I know you're not listening to us because you're very busy in the classroom doing nothing. But at the end of the day...
He went, Robert, he have a talent. He's delivered a backhand slap in a velvet glove. I thought he was... Susan, we hide in your face with the microphone.
I don't know why you keep doing that,
all right, so I'll put it here.
Okay,
right,
that looks good. I just wanted to expand on that because I don't want teachers out there thinking that I feel that they are incompetent. You have very, very good teachers that are being... they're taking a real interest in the children in school, and especially out of school, they're giving them proper guidance and so on. But what I'm saying is that passion that we once had for education, parents, children, teachers, everybody involved in the whole educational process is no longer there, and I think we need to get that back into the schools.
See, the thing about it is that we in Trinidad and Tobago continue to make the repetitive error. Like the Minister of Finance, who gets up and says, I want to thank all the public servants for the great job they have done.
Yes.
And the truth and fact is that there are only a few public servants that have done a great job.
Indeed.
Maybe there is a majority of them. Maybe when I go to the public service, I'll get badly treated now because they'll say, hey, that way you say, well, that's okay. The thing about it is, if the cap fits you, then wear the cap. We cannot say whether it is 100 teachers that are good or 1,000. What we know, and I agree with you, is that there has been a deterioration. And although the former Minister of Education used symbolic ratios and analysis to advocate that under the administration of the People's Partnership, education had a by far better output than they have seen, the results in what we are seeing starting to permeate through the system of the habitual, what should I call it, decaying of the young people's attitudes in school
But Robert,
continues to take center stage, and we can no longer sweep it under the carpet.
This has been going on for quite some time. And to listen to the president of tutors' nonsensical statement that teachers are not responsible for children during break times and after and before schools. So I have to ask the question, who is? We're dealing with children. The same situation, if it took place in a home, parents could have been charged with neglect. So how do you transfer responsibility of the child to the school and the school not be responsible for the child?
For part-time.
How
meaning just between the
But
break?
between 8 of 4, yeah. But at that time, legally, the school has responsibility for the child.
They're still minors.
They're still minors.
Yeah.
So what takes place in the schools, we keep missing this point. The principal of Fatima College should have been suspended. An outcome of this should have been investigated. We need to know what exactly is going on in the nation's schools. I said yesterday, every parent, if this was a real country, every parent would have withdrawn their children from the school until the tutor and the Ministry of Education could guarantee children's safety.
Yeah.
You see, there is something that you are advocating that I also have spoken about, and I think the solution is right in front of our eyes, but we are failing to do it. And when I say we, I don't know who we is. Is we the government? Is we citizens? Is we the institutions? I mean, think about it, that over the last 7 years, 100,000 computers have been put into homes. And that we now have a situation where we are seeing that there is a problem in our society, especially from our young people. And that we have also in place the ability to have access to internet in the majority of this country today. It may not be as efficient as we'd like it, but whether you say yes or no, a child who living in Toku has the computer.
Robert, they have 3 million smartphones in Trinidad.
Okay, but
a smartphone is worse than a computer. They have more computing technology. It's in their hands.
I want to make the point along the line of the solution, which you have also advocated to recently. This bullying that continues to happen within the system, in this whole new modern technological era that we are experiencing, people with the skill sets should be able to come together. And we should be able to have a close circuit arrangement like you have with Live right now, and get the society at large to be able to tune in at a specific time and broadcast this to everybody.
You know, also, I think a lot of people are looking at the educational system, but I do believe that the product of a child out in an environment has a lot to do with the environment that child comes from. I think absentee parentism is a really big issue in Trinidad and Tobago, and I think we need to hold the parents responsible
You're right,
first
but you're right.
for the actions of the child
Yeah,
versus the teachers.
This is what we do, right? We make a list of everybody failing the children, and then we take no action. And social services, social management in the United States and in Canada, child services don't play the fool.
No, I know that.
If they hear a report,
They come in.
they come in and
instantaneous.
nine times out of 10, they're leaving there with the child. You know? If a report, you know what I heard today? In Dubai, you could bad drive somebody and the person behind you could make a report to Dubai police by phone, and they add an observation report to your driving record and contact you and tell you that this report has been made, and you have to defend that report so as to remove the observation report from your driving record. They've turned the entire nation into virtual police.
Which is a good thing.
Could be overused, but
Yeah.
so no, I know.
But-
But I'm saying to you that we have a situation in Trinidad and Tobago where if any country have a Mako culture, is this country.
Okay.
We know what everybody doing. So why we not going forward from there? If we know the instances where children are being neglected and abused, why are reports not being made and why is action not being taken?
It is because the culture of the society over the last 20 years, maybe the last 30. We have become absentee citizens.
Absolutely. Well
Right.
said.
So-
well said. You have to
so-
say that again. That is well articulated. I agree.
Yeah.
So I am just trying to plant a first seed because, as you have said in the past, and I agree, and I think the country would buy in. We have a whole. I don't even want to call it a baby elephant. We have a full-grown elephant here, that has died, and we have no food. And everybody is trying to decide how to eat this elephant. Well, okay, we have to cut it up in smaller pieces. So the trouble we have, and I saw something, I sent it to Officer Chabonnet, and from Monday, we are going to dedicate Mondays to this bullying or this children or this child decay in the society.
That's such a good thing to hear.
Okay?
Well done.
So
Yeah.
between 11 and 12, we are
But-
dedicating an hour.
But how could you tackle bullying at the children's level and not say that blue lights, I just use it as an example, blue lights is bullying. Children on their way to school, seeing mommy and daddy, have to pull aside and everybody in the car talking about whoever this clown is in this state-owned vehicle with blue lights pushing everybody off the road because they're more important. And you see that? Children learn what they live.
Yeah,
Children
but-
see bullying. Children see parliamentarians on the news. All the traditional news broadcasts. They don't broadcast the sensible exchanges between politicians. They broadcast the foolishness, the nonsense, the character assassinations. That's bullying. Children see that. They see law enforcement operating not by the administration of justice, but by fair tactics, and they see bullying work.
The issue comes full 360. Where is the starting point?
Right.
Because everything you have said is good. But we, again, as a society, try and, when we get up this morning, well, move the left shoe. When we get up the next morning, well, move the right shoe. When we get up the next one, I wonder if the pants right. When we get up the next one, did I brush my teeth? And we still indecisive. What I am trying to lead is a discussion and try to get the society to decide. We started it this week. What can you do to make this country a better place?
I have two suggestions that I would like to make that I have found that most of the suggestions that I would put forward are suggestions that I've tested for myself.
Right.
Basically to see how they work with me and what level of inconvenience I may have gone through because of those changes I've tried to make. I think that self-monitoring is a good start for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You have to stop and ask yourself, if I do this, how is that going to affect the other person? Would I like that done to me? And by extension, if you are thinking about your fellow citizen, you are thinking about the well-being of a country. Secondly, I think critical thinking is something that should be encouraged in schools because children are just memorizing information and they're going out into the workforce being really just not good at critical thinking, solving problems, making proper decisions, saying that this is wrong, I'm not supporting this, speaking out. And if they do that in school, they can be the voice of a subculture in school that says we're not taking this.
You're very right, but Robert raised the point there, and he is spot on too. And I want to say, like, Sensei Kerry Grant, when this thing happened, I interviewed him last night on our live show. He put out a video, and in a couple hours, it got 111,000 views. And his video was 14 minutes of ranting against the school system and parenting and government and why this should be happening. 100,000 views in a couple hours is not a little bit of views. And it shows that there are a vast number of people in this society that feel and want to express themselves on matters like these in that way, that want to say. So when you ask the question, what should we be doing? I think we're doing it. It's a lot of work. We're building out options. We're trying. This work here, 11 o'clock every Thursday morning, everything that you do all during the week, Kevin. I mean, there are a lot of people that are working at this, that have pushed aside the bacchanal politics and are actually dealing with issues. The PNM and the UNC and all of the attackers fight the PAP on a constant basis, and they don't get it yet. That what they're doing is why the people people are gravitating to organizations like ours because the people are fed up of the nonsense. They want somebody to say that this is how you fix education, this is what it will cost, this is who should do it, do that. There is an absence of leadership, and where leadership should be, there's roti politics and bacchanalia, and we need to stop that.
Yeah, so Philip, again, we have to accept, and I think it is accepted whether by politicians or the population, that we have a problem in the upbringing of our children from the school system. That's our first, what should I call it? That's our first referendum.
The teachers will say it to you.
But aside the teachers,
nobody teachers will say it to you, and they're not wrong. They will say to you that you are sending to them broken raw material.
At the end of the day, that's your job. When I give you as a mason to fix a wall,
Robert, you are
if
not,
the wall needs rebuilding, you have to rebuild it.
You are not but you are not a 5'5" woman that has to deal with children 13 and 14 years old that willing to be violent, and if their parents come into the school for discipline, because I argue your point, you know, I argue that same point, but I also have to listen to the teachers who are squaring off literally against students and parents willing to visit violence on them.
You need to hold the parents accountable.
It starts
financially
in the home.
responsible for the behavior of their children, because people tend only to feel it when it's something that is financial and a loss.
What is being advocated from now until Jesus Christ returns to the earth will not happen. So you are saying hold parents accountable.
But you and I just agreed.
You're saying hold them financially.
But you and I just agreed children's services work. So why we don't have our children's services?
No problem.
Why you can't go to the home? If you have a situation like with these two boys, while this investigation is going on, take both of those children out of the homes. The victims, they're both victims here. You have to do an investigation to find out.
Again, Philip, come back. Why is it possible for that to happen in the United States of America and Canada? What makes it become a part of
it would work here because Trinidadians go there.
Forget whether it would work here or not. I'm asking what is the instrument that they use in order to be able to have the power to take that action?
Law enforcement.
Correct.
They enforce their laws.
Hold on. They have a law.
Good.
We have no law.
Why?
Because we have politicians that
PNM and UNC.
No problem.
Name it.
And from
PNM and UNC, name it. Name it.
PNM
fire them. Fire them.
But who? You and I will fire them.
Fire them.
We will fire
100,000 people who watched Cary Grant video yesterday. Fire them.
Hold on. You see those 100,000 people?
All I'm saying
whether
is,
you like it or not, they are fakes.
That's not true.
They are fakes.
Trinidad.
They are people who will just get up on the live
social media.
See.
You have no metrics.
Hello. The matrix is very easy.
You have no metrics.
Let's call for them to come out. Let's call for them to come out tomorrow.
Look at what you're doing at Ministry of Works.
Let's call for them to come out on Sunday.
Look at what you are doing at Ministry of Works. Your thing to fire Rohanson and I'm growing with the weeks. I am watching it.
And I agree with you.
Listen.
But Rohanson versus the life of a child. The child is more important. If we call on the parents to come out tomorrow, the parents will stay home and watch the damn TV.
There is something called a tipping point, and we're heading there.
Yes, but it will take us until Jesus Christ arrives.
I don't think so. I think Jesus is almost here. There is a tipping point.
Almost here?
I think so, because if that is your measure...
You mean you're coming in at 12:30 today?
Yeah, have him as a guest? Listen.
No. The Belizean return at 12:30?
Oh, no.
Miss me with that one.
We take a break.
Miss me with that one.
We got to take ourselves a nice quick break here. As exciting as the conversation is going across the community, you got to stay tuned for the continuation of this talk. But first of all, we got to remind the members of the Black Caucus movement, you're given notice that the first annual general meeting will be held on Sunday, 29th October this year at the Communications Workers Union Hall, Upper Henry Street in Port of Spain.
I don't understand.
The meeting will commence at 2 p.m. sharp. For further information, you've got to call the BCM office at 270-4740 or 270-4739. Remember, human life will only be of equal value when it is of equal worth. People, I gotta also let you know that this chic and beautiful tip is being brought to you courtesy of Big Mike's Wellness Center at number 19 Market Street in Arouca.
Right.
We're still live, and so just making sure everybody knows that we're still live on social media. Kevin is like one of those guys that asks you to dance and forget he don't know the words of the song.
And he sings them confidently, not knowing the words. But he does have a lovely voice.
Right. See? That's 2 slap on a clout and a kiss. So you know what to do with that. Women have a power that men will never have, you know.
Yeah, we all know the powers.
A woman can slap you and then kiss you and you'll forget the slap, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Forget the slap.
all that wondering reason. One reason drives everything we do.
Listen, I have been
I am still here, by the way. I just want to point that out.
I didn't say what the reason was.
cooking. The ability to make roti.
It's not cooking at all.
The ability to make roti.
Pretty soon, Roti is going to end up on a prenuptial agreement. I'm certain.
And dalfuri too. And you know you don't like the peas. You have to shake it out.
You don't like the peas?
No, he has to shake out the
What
peas.
kind of
No,
man
I
man you will
totally
make?
agree with
I
you.
like it.
Let me tell you something, eh? In a proper plate of curry, you shake the peas into the curry to take in what's going on your plate. Oh my
I don't mind
God.
chana, but I don't like it growing up in roti. I like roti plate.
That's not chana, that's split
Whatever
peas.
it is, I don't like it.
And you see to all the roti shops that open today that don't sell body,
No, that's not. That was your chic and beautiful tip being brought to you courtesy of Big Mike's Wellness Center at 90 Market Street.
if you're not selling body, you're not a real roti shop. You're not a real roti shop.
But I go by a roti shop and
They
I
don't
ask them for
body.
body. They tell me no.
Leave.
I
If
said
they
that-
don't sell body,
You tell me I have veg. And here the veg have potato.
no, but
Chana.
pak choy. Where pak choy end up in a roti?
Potatoes
Oh,
and veg.
I went
You know
by.
they're compensating. Whenever Pak Choi ends up in a Roti, they're compensating.
Baji is not pak choy. Pak choy is not baji. I went
Listen, when
to
they cook up and steam it, they call it anything you
Kevin.
want.
I went to a roti shop that served me white dal, and I asked them, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
You ever see white dal? I think they make it with lima beans.
They have a doubles vending stations right across there from the Chinese supermarkets by Woolings there. It was white doubles.
White? I ain't
And
know white
everybody
doubles.
like, when I see the color, I was like, nah, that's not
That's
doubles.
not
No,
doubles.
food is very visual for me. If it doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like, I'm not eating it.
I eat a.
And that
I
especially goes for Chinese restaurants.
listen. I eat a akra the other day that had no saltfish. I said, "The ack, what is wrong? There's a ack."
That's like a fry bake.
That's
actually just a
that's what I
private.
smoke. Yeah, this is the kind of shit we're going to talk about because the conversation got heated. How many ads we have?
I could finish off all the others, you gotta go back in with them.
Good.
Glen Lianza have a roti shop down on the
Glen Lianza.
Mokorapo Road. Where Ray Cool is, they have a roti shop next door called
yeah,
the Best Roti.
I know it.
And I tell him, I
I
said,
tried it already. I don't like it.
but I tell him, I said, how you don't have body in the roti shop? Boy, you see that important? I said, boy, that is the roti.
Oh, clearly he didn't live here for very long.
Nobody have it now. He's telling me, yeah, they added to the menu.
The whole issue with regards to the problem of the children in the school has to start from, in my personal view, we have to pick a point. It may not be right, but we could always go left of that point or right of that
Right,
point. But
right,
we have
I
to have
agree.
a starting point. What is the starting point? Is the starting point advocating a particular issue on the social media network on regular basis like advertising, where we get the population to continue to share the information on this 3 million high-tech pieces of equipment?
Oh no,
they
that's
have?
just 600, but
You understand? What do we do?
yeah.
You made the point the other day, which is a point I have made many, many years ago and written about it, but politicians have not listened. Up to today, they're not listening. It's no different to the point that has been made by quite a number of people now about putting the prisons putting the courthouses in the prison. If you have people who are in charge that fail to appreciate and understand that we want efficiency, we want a deliverable, we want something to happen, then we'll keep the old systems. PNM and do it, UNC and do it, NAR and do it, PP and do it.
They had no justice on
And
time.
we come back all
No,
the way
but
around.
that justice on time amalgamated thing didn't exist under DNA.
Yeah.
That didn't exist under DNA.
And people, don't forget this month at Howdy Down Lounge, you can enjoy the Savory Special for only $200. You choose one item from each section. This is the appetizers, the entrees, and of course the dessert. And you get a complimentary glass of wine to enjoy the Savory Special at Howdy Down Lounge this October. And because of all this going on, Howdy Down also wants to let you know the time is 11:36.
So, I thought we coming back.
Huh?
Are we done yet?
I actually fixed my smile for this live.
How
What
much
we have
more we
again?
have?
That's it?
Excuse me. You want to talk to Shannon about your bill?
No, you just tell us we're going back in.
I said I was going in. I said I'm going in. That's what I said.
Now, I hope you guys are happy. Kevin is feeling sensitive now. You see what you caused?
So
Kev,
what we
I have you
again?
back across here.
I could do Omega XL.
Nah, leave that one. What we have again?
Trinity and the Toy Drive.
We've already told you.
Robert, what it is you're trying to do with the air conditioning here? What are you aiming for? Snow?
No. The problem is not that. The problem, look what it is. 20. What has happened with the air conditioning?
Why you don't turn it to 23? That is normal.
It gets worse. The last time we get the 23, it frees up the whole system.
One day you're going to come in here and there'll be snow.
That's okay.
There'll be snow in
We're
here.
heading to Christmas soon.
Right.
Kevin will
Nothing
be
can wrong with it.
making snowmen.
It's cool, but I prefer the cold than the heat anyway.
Yeah, boy.
I would agree with you. You can dress for the cold.
You got undressed for the heat.
Yeah, no, but that is against the law.
The Kevin on radio, you know. You're not live on. Anyway.
No, so we back to this whole position. Where's the starting point? You see, the trouble we are is still waiting to have a starting point. you know.
Yes,
but
yes.
you see,
Nobody has identified where you're going to start from to
correct,
tackle the
but
various areas.
You correct, but you also know the children learn what they live.
Forget about that.
Yeah, but we can't compare your experience and my experience. I just said
that is not the
a lot
issue.
of these
You see,
children, Robert, they have no
Hello.
home upbringing. You know.
At the end of it all, let us agree. So, what is the starting point? Do
Right.
we start by saying, let's start with educating the children about
I don't think we could do that. I think what we have to,
seconds.
I think what we have to do is set a minimum standard for what is acceptable for the upbringing
Alright,
of
so
a
we'll now
child.
get ourselves back inside of sensibility and the talk continues. Of course, for the power example, Suzette
Lawa, rhymes with Lawa.
Zamar.
we had a little
Off air.
fracas.
Off
yeah,
air.
yeah.
No, but
it's,
for those-
it's unfortunate.
For those now joining us, I'm in with Robert Amar, 104.7. I'm joined by Suzette Lauer. Listen, Robert, all I'm saying to you on Trinidad and Tobago is this. Children are the victims here. We have to agree on that.
I agree.
We
I
cannot
agree.
accept children to come out of their mothers fully formed with all of the knowledge. We all learned from our life's experiences and what was molded into us. We become that. Children have become sexual drones. Children are growing up in a hyper-sexualized society. Trinidad is one of the #1 countries in the world for pornography abuse.
We are number one.
We are #1. You see, Kevin would know that. Kevin would have those facts. Kevin would have those facts.
Because he's a journalist. Let me just put it that way.
That's right.
Yes.
Listen, I don't know. Anyway, I mean,
But Philip, I'm still advocating that the perfect start will never be found.
it should be in the home.
Wherever,
You want to educate the children? I'm telling you, there is a means test for a home that raises a child. If I, as a parent, fail that means test, you have a responsibility as the society to remove the child, because you, as a society, will deal with the dysfunction of that child when it is an adult.
You know what the educated people will say? Utopian thinking.
Not that.
Right? At the end of the day,
We have a children's authority. We have a children's authority that took 15 years.
again, utopian.
But Robert, it exists. They're paying $150,000 a month to rent a building on Wrights Road.
It's okay.
What are we getting in return?
At the end of the day,
No measures.
Here's the bigger
There is
question.
no parliamentary oversight that pulls something as important as the Children's Authority in before the parliament, broadcast it live and say, give us all of the information with regards to the upbringing of our children in society, because our children are at risk. Nobody's doing that.
Here is the bigger problem. We know the problem. We have known the problem for at least the last 10 years. Short 5. And in the present time now, we have done nothing.
Robert,
All we have done is whine and wane.
correct. And you
Pass
cannot
the
be
blame.
you can't be on the deck of the you
Continue
cannot be
to
on the
tell-
deck of the Titanic screaming at the man in the place with the wheel that we're heading for the iceberg. At the end of the day, the person who makes the difference is the man whose hand is on the steering wheel, or the woman.
Right.
They've both failed us. Trinidad needs a
Okay.
social development. I just want to say this, right? Trinidad and Tobago, every one of the problems that this country has comes from a breakdown in social development and management.
Here we go again.
The intervention that
Here
we
we
need
go
in the
again.
hotspots.
Here
More of
we-
beat them lab until
here we-
Ceylon.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Whole elephant, and they're trying to eat the whole
But
thing.
Robert, that is from a governmental
Where
point
is
of
the
view.
starting point?
At the parliament, in the cabinet, in the
Right.
government, set a
So,
national
okay.
vision.
Okay.
When JFK said, in my lifetime we will put a man on the moon, that is a vision for the country. Let us put in,
Okay.
let's create a vision for the country that has universal literacy and a means.
So you're right, okay? JFK was this great guy. Where is he today? Did they love him?
They killed him.
They killed him.
They killed Christ. They killed Gandhi.
Well,
they killed Martin Luther King.
Well, I don't think really looking at the failures of the past government and this government really is a starting point.
No, it is not.
We have agreed that they have failed. Now we're moving past that.
I agree.
We are thinking about the children because they are going to be the leaders of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is in a very deplorable state as it is, and we need to reach our children. I can tell you from my home that my children, they behave the worst when they're at home. They do. And I keep saying that one of these good days, I'm not going to take you out anymore. But when we go out, they behave so well because they know what the difference is with being home and being on the outside.
Right, okay.
Now, my point is, raising children is not an exact science.
No, it isn't.
And we need to know as parents, you see, society as well is dictating how a child is raised at home, because when parents are so focused on earning an income to be able to take care of the household bills and so on, they don't really have the energy to see about raising a child. But what I'm saying is you have to make that sacrifice, because the children, obviously what's happening in society now is showing you that there is a breakdown from the stage of parenting.
Okay, I need to interrupt you for a second. Because you use the word make the sacrifice. But I don't think we understanding how desperately poor a lot of our people are. And when we say make the sacrifice, and I'm just saying this to you with an abundance of respect.
Philip, put a pin. I can't let this
That
go.
must
I can't
hurt.
let it go. I can't let it go.
I know that hurt you, that hurt.
13, 12, 11-year-old girls having children. Fathered by 15, 16, 17-year-old boys. What is stopping civic-minded Trinidad and Tobago to start addressing 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old girls, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old boys, by getting things or people or society to go in and start to talk to these children? You see,
I want to take back out the pen.
again.
I want to take back out the
go
pen.
ahead.
You are asking for a level of corporate responsibility. I'm just saying to you. I'm just saying to you because you see all the civic mindedness you want to do. You have radio stations in this country that make money, and they are the number one stations in the country, and all they broadcast is hypersexualized violence.
Stop.
You can't.
No, stop.
You
stop,
can't.
Stop. Those same stations that doing that is being promoted by a particular company, A, B, or C. Have you ever sent a letter to the chairman?
All the time.
Have you ever sent a letter to the chairman of that company?
All the time. I get letters, cease and desist. These people, I have told them, I have said that you are corporately irresponsible. I told Valdez and Tory, two friends of mine, I said you need to choose the difference between where you earn your money and the quality of the nation we live. Ross Advertising. I told them, you cannot continue to contribute to the delinquency of minors in this country. My cousin Ricardo Bideshi is the marketing manager of Angostura, brand manager, and we ain't talked for 5 years. I tell him how it rains, when it rains you pour, when it pours you rain. But I set a little children in wet t-shirts as your billboard on Harvard Corner, using 16-year-old girls and putting them in carnival costumes and draping it all over the country. We need to get back to corporate responsibility first. Because all the civic responsibility you and I have can't fight that.
No, I think we need to get back to a place of respect for God. I think if you put God back into the household, whatever you choose to call God and whatever religion you belong to, you put God back into the house, into the home, and into parenting, children will learn to have a little bit more respect for things that they know they need to do.
And they leave home and they bounce up their friends and they go out in the school and they go in the party and everything that's happening in their society, because you're right,
But Philip, I have been a student too.
Okay, but
I have grown up in a house.
You and I have had the good fortune to be able to spend time raising our children. Robert has as well. But there are people who literally do not have that time because they have to pay the bills and put the food on the table. And you cannot ignore that.
So you don't have 5 minutes to teach your children how to pray?
You think 5 minutes is going to solve this
problem? No,
problem?
but I think it's a start, Philip.
And you see, and that's the point. Because all of the things that we advocate for, home ownership, affordable food, education that works, we need to give the parents support. The parents have no support.
At the end of the day, you are speaking at a time when you have the power to do that. And the reality is you don't. So that is not a solution. That is just what you call one of the options that is available. And you could speak from now until the cows come home, as they say. I started off by telling you some of the things you're speaking is not wrong. is very utopian. But to add insult
I
to
don't like that
injury,
you say it's utopian. I don't
it
like that you
is
say
because
that. I don't like that you say
the only way it can happen, and your associate is right.
Robert, you know what is an I? You know what?
Hold on, you and I talked this talk the other day, you know. I just started to read the Bible in my life, you know. I now reached to the 5th chapter. All right? Now, she's right. You know what the Bible indicates? Christ was what you call the fearmonger, you know. He said, if you don't do it, you'll suffer, you know. Put and instill that fear. He tell Moses that.
But I want to ask you a question.
At the end of the day, we have biblical teaching. I'm not saying that we must be biblical. I'm saying that there are certain things that have been recorded historically.
And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But
okay.
I want to ask you a question, please. Let me ask this question. The entire society is predicated on a government setting the tone and tenor of the society. And I need to say this because all of it doesn't work.
55 years after the fact, you're still saying the same
people,
thing.
Listen, I am willing to bet this. I am willing to bet all of this effort that I put out every day of my life. And I am betting that there are a vast majority of Trinidadians who want better. And I'm going to bet on that. You and me.
Okay. A bottle of water. No, a bottle of water. Don't bet too much.
A bottle of water.
A bottle of pipe water.
Robert, I bet
even pipe water. I don't even want blue water. I don't even want blue water.
Somebody said to me, real wealth is to be able to wake up when you want, go to sleep when you want, and do what the hell you want in between. I live like that now. Instead of me being on the beach this nice, beautiful Thursday, I in your station arguing with you for a better Trinidad and Tobago. What I am betting is my life. I am betting these days that I will never get back. I am betting this hour that I spend fighting with you every Thursday morning. But the truth of the matter is, what we do here is important work. There is nobody else talking to Trinidad and Tobago about where the solutions lie.
And I agree with you. But we're still at the point where you have to tell me, Robert, I will cut off a piece of the trunk of the elephant.
Right.
And I will eat it
But that's
today.
Thursday morning.
I'll eat it today with salt only.
Don't agree. I don't disagree with Suzette. When I finish my live video every night, they have one song I play to bring me back down, because it's 1 hour of talk, and I play a song. It's called Oceans, Where Feet May Fail. And I would love everybody to listen to that song, listen to the words of that song, because it tells you what we're up against is storm water in this country.
I want to come back again. You and I agree.
Robert reading the Bible, things serious in Trinidad.
You and I agree that a part of the solution is corporate responsibility.
Absolutely.
When we look at what has just happened in our own country, coming from the floods that devastated maybe 10,000 homes, I don't know the number.
If not more.
Okay, I am just throwing out a number.
If not a lot more.
When we look at the approach that has been taken by the leaders, on the one side, one leader went for political, what should I call it, maneuvering, to show, I care, so I'm here.
Yeah, but
the other one went...
She looks silly sitting down in a canoe, and the people pushing the canoe up to their ankle in water. It was a stunt, and Trinidadians don't want stunts anymore.
At the end of the day, you could say that.
No, but I'm saying that.
You could say that.
I am saying it.
And
Trinidadians want real leadership. What you do is more leadership than the two of them combined.
But if I go tomorrow and put myself on the ballot paper, they will piss on me.
And if you went as UNC Chaguanas West, you win hands down.
At the end of the day...
So something is wrong with us at that level.
I started off by telling you that we have a failed citizen.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm saying to you, and I'm saying to Suzette, and I'm saying to Trinidad and Tobago, because we all agree and we're on the same page, that what we
No,
need...
we're on different pages.
I'll tell you why we're on the same page here.
We're on different
We're in the
pages.
same chapter, verse, line. Trinidadians need an awakening. That's what we need.
Okay, so how are we doing that? Call Kim Jong-un
No, I really...
and tell them to bring the table with the flags that they put up when Trinidad and Tobago beat the United States of America?
Mr.
I
Speaker,
think-
I yield. I yield.
I hear what both of you gentlemen are saying, but I think that you all are expressing a lack of confidence in the goodness of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because pretty much like you, Robert, and like you, Philip, myself, and Kevin, we want what is better for the country. Yes, people are inherently afraid of change, but I believe if they see that that change is going to come from a very structured approach, people that care for them, their children, and their well-being, I think people may actually take a chance, because I will, and I am very adverse to change, but I will, because I forget me. I mean, I look at my children and I think, I can deal with this, because sometimes I see them ill and I say to God, give me what they have and heal them, because I can deal with it as an adult, but as a child, they are battling with something that they cannot handle. And this is the way I see Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not concerned about me. I'm concerned about our children.
While I want to appreciate that sentiment, and it means a lot, I believe, to the people who are listening, the fact remains that we have a lazy society.
I agree.
Robert, we fought.
This society.
We fought a society that watched a woman on Mother's Day leave her family, go walking through a track that she walked through every day to get to where she had to take her taxi to go to work as a security guard. And she was complaining about a police officer who had 7 pit bulls in the yard that would make it difficult for her to walk through the track, until one day the pit bulls escaped and killed her. This is a mad, mismanaged, dysfunctional country. We need leadership at the top that undo and redo Trinidad and Tobago. You cannot cherry pick issues. The PNM, and this is the last thing I am saying today, the PNM and the UNC have destroyed Trinidad and Tobago. Basdio Pandey, Patrick Manning, Eric Williams, George Chambers, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and now Keith Rowley have questions to answer why we don't have a secure border in this nation yet, a nation known globally to be a narco state, why 40% of the shipping containers pass through this country unchecked, and we have found drugs, cocaine and marijuana in shipping containers. There are a billion issues we could raise, and I'm telling you, the solution to all is to fire the PNM and the UNC.
Well, that might be the solution.
But what about the long-term planning to maintain and sustain the country of Trinidad and Tobago? That's just the start, and as Robert is quite rightly saying, we need to have a plan that is for long-term and not an immediate
We have plans
solution.
and policies, but the immediate solution had to be, when you reach home and you have groceries to pack and you have things, laundry to do, you reach your house and you see a rattlesnake in your living room and everything stops. Our rattlesnake is the PNM and the UNC. Trinidad has to face it. If you think this morning that either party less worse or less evil, walk in the hospital, go in a police station, go in a fire station, walk up and down any city street, go anywhere in Trinidad, find something, touch it and tell me, I'm proud of that. I sat down in a lawyer's office yesterday and watched a building through his window that was built for $200 million since Manning. They're finished yet. Hundreds of millions of dollars being spent and misspent and stolen. When there are people, somebody called in on Synergy when I was there and he said, you know what hurt me, Philip? When I heard you describe what we stole to give to Clico and what it translated to in houses, I knew people that were sitting down suffering in this country, and that money was there because they were able to find the money to give Clico, and they give it to Clico. We've had heartless governance.
That same person you spoke to with the highest admiration for that person will not stand up and become.
I think that you will be surprised.
Right? That person will need other people to build their enthusiasm, and still they will find an excuse not to come out.
Your experience, you've been working at this very hard. I'm going to pass it over to Suzette now to close, but you've been working at this longer than most people. You've been literally toiling in the vineyard. So I know that you know. And I know that you understand. And all of that you say in there, you know in your heart of hearts that the solution to Trinidad and Tobago is for us to magically wake up tomorrow critically aware.
Yeah, that's a very important word, eh?
Magically.
Yeah.
Because that's the question you're asking.
The last time I went Disney, I had that experience.
But you're asking
I had that experience the last time I went
that's
Disney.
That's the question you really asking.
Yes, the last time. When I was on the what do you call it? The tram, what is it called again? They think on Disney that's scary. I mean, the monorail. When I was on the monorail, boy, if you see the fantastic dream that came through that day.
That's the question you're asking.
No, I am asking a simpler question.
How do we find the magic?
Hold on.
How do we wake up Trinidad and Tobago that they make better choices so that what Suzette wants and what you want and Kevin wants
could happen?
So
I will tell you, and it will not happen, but I really wish it would happen. I wish that somebody will emerge on the surface of the land of Trinidad and Tobago that becomes what you call the pontificated rebirth of Christ. Or whoever, as Suzette say, is your visionary
your deity of choice.
leader.
The deity of choice.
Whether it's Muslim, Hindu,
Whatever.
Roman Catholic, I really don't care. And that person hit the staff on the ground, tap on the staff, turned that snake. And that person take the staff and put it in the water, and the water turned red.
You want Moses?
But
Well, we questioned Moses on the 10 Commandments. I believe it was a lot more than that.
He had more commandments, but then they had a meeting. They said, Moses, you really want number 12? That was
23 people makes the decision for 1.3 million.
Yes.
How did you arrive here? Moses just parted your mind because you agree.
And those
that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the rubber meets the road.
I and you agree. But we cannot get rid of those 23 people.
There's a lot of testosterone in the room, and we have Suzette here.
Oh, I'm handling that very well. Don't worry about me.
Stories, man. You add your thing.
Well, now we're going to wind up, Suzette. So any closing words?
Yes, I would like to just put out there something that disturbs me tremendously. You see, this child that is in Canada that is awaiting her money for her scholarship, the government of this country made a promise to that child, and you need to keep that promise.
Live up to your promise.
That child is now seeing an example of how adults keep their word and how they behave.
Correct.
And that, what you're doing there, Garcia, you need to step in and get something done. Call Imbert, you need to take some money from that highway to Manzanilla and send to that child in Canada because she's depending on the government of Trinidad and Tobago to keep their promise.
No, I don't think it's dependent. I think it's more important that the government of Trinidad and Tobago has a responsibility.
There's an obligation. Listen,
Yeah.
as usual, we thank you for having the Progressive Empowerment Party in the studio on a Thursday at 11 to 12. We need to make this show longer. I'd like to thank my colleague Suzette Lauer for joining us. As usual, Robert Amar, 1 hour is not enough for what we do here on a Thursday. You have to find a way to give us more time. Give me a bill and we will find a way to get somebody, because a lot of people want to assist. This show and things like this is what we need to keep doing. Thanks a lot, Kevin, for all the good work you do.
I just want to say to Robert, it is such a pleasure to finally meet you. I have heard about you for God knows how long since we've been growing up, and it's such a pleasure to meet you.
All these church people get along so well.
You need some Jesus. You need some
I
Jesus.
can't let that be the closing thing. I go to church. I need Jesus.
Well, this is our closing show for the week. We want to thank Philip and his guests for being here, Suzette. It was an interesting discussion. We still have to find a starting point.
Yes, I agree.
This country will not move forward if we do not put down a foundation at a point and start to build a new edifice upon it.
Yes.
Is that going to be from the point of view of the children? And do we go using technology to get intelligent messages across to them on a continuous basis? We have to have a change from a point. We haven't found that yet. Politicians are fighting in the parliament about where to start, and when you look at the debate on the budget, it's the same old stupidness over and over. Nobody is making any kind of common sense. It's blame this one and blame that one, and move this here and move that there. So I would look forward to next week when, as I said, we start on Monday. I have taken together with the program director here, we have taken a very hands-on position in saying we think the children is where we need to begin.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
I would like to suggest that next week Thursday show starts at 10 and not 11.
I'll send you the bill.